So that's it, man. And then I got more stuff coming out. I got my system in place for monetizing or putting menus on or whatever it is I'm going to do. There's one more thing I'm doing. Haven't got quite worked out. It'll come out of this next game that I'm talking about, the one that I'm working with the other person on. No names yet. And that is the ability to store and retrieve levels from a server.
Oh, cool.
That's a big one. I also got an input from Sergey on that on this game. He said that I should approach this game by allowing people to create levels instead of just generating random levels. And I agreed, but I was too far along to do it for this one.
I don't know if you guys saw any of the live E3 coverage, but creating levels was actually a kind of a recurring theme. Nintendo did it. They have a Mario, we'll just call it level creator. They call it, they click it Mario Creator or something like that. But you can create levels, and then I think EA, the EA Vault Access, whatever, they were doing something, and then I can't remember all the names, but some of the big console titles are all doing. Where you can create levels and share them online, and I think, I know Fallout 4, they're actually allowing people to create mods on their PC, and then people can play those mods in the.
And they'll sell them on Steam.
Console.
I mean, no, we're not going to sell those on Steam.
Well, there wasn't any mention of that, of course, but sure, yeah, I'm sure the rest of that.
A fiasco.
Yeah.
Well, they're getting ready to do. Speaking of Fallout, I think Bethesda is also doing a new Doom, right? Which is like the original, right? I mean, WAD files and all of that. I mean,
right.
Showing my age here now.
Yeah, some good stuff. Anyway, I don't know if you guys saw any of that, but we watched the live Bethesda announcement for Fallout 4, and it was good. So it's interesting. I'll tell you what's interesting is to see. Right now, YouTube is streaming live the sessions from E3. And it's very much live coverage of the event, almost like sports events and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool to see that progressing like that. Anyway, all right. Well, let's talk about Ragdoll.
All right. Let's talk about what I call physics fun. So first of all, this is probably going to be a multi-episode topic. We're going to cover what we can today, and we'll come back to it when we so choose at a later episode. And when I say multi-episode topic, I mean that I think we'll probably revisit physics and add more to the sampler that you're going to get. So people watching the show will be able to download what I'm showing them today, and I think in the future that we will add additional examples and refinements to this, so the list will get larger and larger. I also invite the other panelists who want to talk about physics, have something that they'd like to demo, and if they don't want to go through all the trouble to package it up themselves, simply do the demo, send me your code, and I will incorporate it in this sample kit for people to look at and give it a menu button and the whole deal, and probably package it up a little bit. And of course I'll give credit, but my goal here is to get stuff together for other folks who are learning about physics and just want to play with it to look at, because it's a broad, deep topic now. So before we start, the first thing I want to encourage people to do is don't forget that the right place to start on any topic in Corona, especially physics, is in the documentation. A great starting point is simply to go to the daily API link or the current APIs. And the way you want to navigate this, if you're not familiar with it, is it's got a sidebar here that shows you all the libraries and all that. It's also got this section where everything is broken out by library and functions and fields within those libraries. So over here, if I was looking for, say, set gravity, oops, I could just do a search on the page, and it would pop right out. So I see people in the forums having a lot of problems finding stuff or knowing how to search docs, and they should start here and simply
that advice,
what they're looking for.
That advice is so good. I mean, I think I responded, I think it was this morning or last night, to a forum post Or somebody, I mean, this guy actually knew what he was looking for. He said, you know, how do I get the velocity of an object? I said, oh my goodness, you're using the right terminology. You just go here and command F it, man.
I think people frequently jump into the forums and jump into the site, and they've really missed the link that says, here's the API. Here is the doc, because we have really wonderful documentation. I feel like
it's so much better than it was 4 or 5 years ago.
Sir?
It's so much better than it was, I guess not 4 or 5, but 3 or 4 years ago.
It's not perfect by any means, but it's lots of examples, well organized, well cross-linked. Anyways, accolades aside.
Brent works on that constantly, every week. I mean, he's always updating it, always revamping it, you know, because it's not a static thing. You know, as the SDK changes, and other, you know, not just the SDK, but, you know, Facebook changes their rules or something, or, you know, some network goes away or gets added or whatever, then that documentation has to be updated. So it's not just.
And I think one important thing that Ed sort of mentioned, but is to check the dailies, because there's 2 different versions. There's the stable build and there's the dailies. And for most things, they're nearly identical, which is why I think the dailies are just the ones to go to.
Because I primarily use the dailies. The only thing is sometimes the dailies actually lead the release. So because the dailies are updated as part of the build process that occurs before the release happens, and what can happen is they partially pull the trigger on a release, and they find a bug, and then the release never happens, but the documentation gets out ahead of it. So, you know, you occasionally get a run into, you're like, hey, that doesn't work. Yeah, that's because it's in a feature that isn't quite released yet. But I still prefer the dailies.
Yeah, and I think it's so worth just going there. I mean, it's a admittedly nerdy pursuit, but I guess on a podcast called Corona Geek, that's you know, I think just go and scroll it, because something that I think Corona Labs is not always the best at is trumpeting when they do throw something new in, or maybe they're being cautious about it because it's, you know, still in progress. But every now and again, you'll go there and see something and find something you didn't even know existed. And
it happens to me all the time.
And it'll trigger.
Exactly that. I just call this to see what's new.
Yeah. Actually, I just saw one, JSON Prettify. I've got to look at what that is. That wasn't there last time I looked, and it sounds awfully.
It sounds useful.
It sure does. Who doesn't like pretty JSON?
All right. So we start.
Put some makeup on myself. Pretty JSON.
And in this case, we're going to be looking into physics. Now, I want to give a little bit. I know people are like, oh, go ahead and just show us the darn thing, but I just want to drive this home. So you're starting at the top level here. You run down to the physics library, which you can select off the left side or out of the body here. Let me find it. Physics. This is going to take us to the physics library. Now, here's a crucial thing. Here's what I see people do all the time. They go, okay, I'm on the physics library. Scroll, scroll, scroll. What am I looking for? Start. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Okay, start. It didn't work. I don't understand. They leap right into the examples, and they skip over all this stuff at the top. So let's back up a second. Crucial. Look at all the stuff at the top. Frequently, they're going to be, when you're on the home, so physics.asterisk, for example, you're going to see a bunch of see alsos, which lead you into very useful guides, like the physics body guide, the collision detection, and physics joints, which we're going to look at today. And then when you drill down to a specific function, for example, let's try a new joint. One of the things that is always in here is that it tells you what the function returns, if it returns anything, and oftentimes there'll be a link right here. So if we click on this, we can get more information about what a link is, what its properties are, what its functions are that are attached to it, and how we can manipulate it. And this is the part where I see a lot of people in the forums asking a question that if they had simply gone to this page and clicked at the top, they would get the answer they needed. So just be a little more patient, or be aware that a lot of this stuff is cross-linked. There's a lot of documentation here. You just need to know how to search it.